Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have a super quick tutorial for you all today. We are going to be making this super cute twist front ear warmer. It's extremely beginner friendly. You only need to know how to do one stitch to make it, and it's very customizable. You can change the thickness, change how big it is, so it's fantastic to make as gifts for others, and it's a great stash busting project since it doesn't take much yarn. Without further ado, let's jump into materials and get to the tutorial. Okay, for this project, you don't need much. You will need a 6mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and any weight for yarn. For this project, I'm using this light pink Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. It's a weight for 100% acrylic yarn. It's super soft and I love it for any sort of wearable piece or wearable accessory. Once you are ready to get started, go ahead and set up your workstation and we will jump right in. As I mentioned before, this is a super beginner friendly project. It's super straightforward. You only need to know how to do one stitch to complete this, and that will be the back loop only half double crochet. So to go ahead and get started, make yourself a slip knot. You don't have to worry about how long the beginning tail is since we'll leave a longer tail at the end to sew it all together. Pop that on your hook and start off with a chain of 65. All right, once you have your base chain of 65, this is when the single row repeat will start. You're going to do the exact same thing over and over again for the rest of this project. Start off by doing one half double crochet in every single loop of this chain. I like to go into the back bumps because it leaves a nice clean edge at the end, but do whatever you feel comfortable doing. Go ahead and start from the second bump from the hook and place a half double crochet in each stitch. All right, now that you are done your first row, every single row after this is going to be exactly the same. So all you have to do is chain one, turn your work. You will be using the half double crochet back loop only for all of this project except for two spots. The very first stitch of the row and the very last stitch of the row. Do a regular half double crochet, meaning I'd like you to go under both of the V's for the first stitch and the last stitch. That will give you a cleaner edge since we're working with a ribbed texture. Once you start getting the rows going, it's gonna seem kind of wobbly on the edge, and when you're sewing it together at the end, it just is neater and cleaner if you do a regular half double crochet at the beginning and the end. So go ahead and do that. I'll meet you at the end of the second row to check in, and then we will continue on from there. As we approach the end of row 2, just remember that you should go under both the loops like a regular half double crochet in the last stitch, and then you will turn your work and be able to repeat. So for this project, I like to do 13 rows. That is a nice thickness for me. I feel like it covers my ears nicely, and that's just how I like it to fit. What's nice about this project is if you would like a wider ear wrap, you can add more rows. If you prefer a more narrow ear wrap, go ahead and take some rows out. But for me, 13 is about average. So I'm gonna go ahead and work up my 13 rows, just repeating row 2 over and over and over. Remember to regular half double crochet in the first stitch, back loop only half double crochet your whole way down, and then regular half double crochet in the last stitch for 13 rows. All right, everyone, I am coming up on the end of my 13th row and I wanted to finish the project up with you all. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up these last 5 or 6 stitches real quick. And then again, remember to do a regular half double crochet under both loops for your very last stitch. And then I'm just going to do a normal bind off. For the length of the tail, since we're going to be sewing the ends together, I measure it very similar to my candle cover. I measure the long way and then take a little bit of the short length, and then this should be more than enough to sew it shut. Then you will go ahead and grab your yarn needle, thread that on, and we will get ready to close this up. Okay, to sew it shut, it's actually very simple. Once you get the hang of it, you are going to take these 2 short ends and make V shapes that are going to fit together. So you have one end, V shape, you have the other end, V shape, and you are going to fit those 2 V's together like this, forming a little zigzag sandwich. For the sake of sewing, it makes it easier if you have the tail with your needle on one of the outer edges, so that when we are sewing it, it's already on your right hand or left, whichever hand is dominant. And then as far as your original tail, you can just have it dangling. We can sew that in later. So just get all of this nice and lined up. We are going to sew with a regular back and forth stitch down and then maybe back, depending on how secure you want it to be. And you will just do that to go ahead and sew it shut. Make sure that every time you pass through, you are going under all 4 of the layers. So I want to make sure my loop is nice on top. I'm just going to pass through over top one more time to make sure that this end is very secure. All right, and now that I've done that, I'm going to make sure I have a good grip of all 4 layers, and you're just going to pass the needle back and forth through all 4 layers until you reach the end. As you approach the end, again, just make sure that you're catching all 4 layers as you pass the needle through. And then when I get to the end, I only sew one direction, it's just fine. I like to go over it again, just like I did at the beginning, just to make sure that it's nice and secure. And then however you want to tie a knot, just go ahead and knot your work so it doesn't go anywhere. I'm gonna go ahead in with another knot just to be safe. Okay, then just go ahead and sew in your 2 loose ends, and I'll meet you back up to see the final result. All right, once you're done sewing in your loose ends and snipping off the excess, all that's left to do is turn the project right side out. And that is how you get the twist on the front of a twist front ear warmer. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was easy to understand. This is one of my favorite projects because it is so quick. It's great for stash busting. It's great for giving as gifts. It's also extremely customizable. So like I said at the beginning, we did a chain 65 because for me, that's an average adult or adult woman size head. But if you're making it for someone with a larger head or with bulkier hair, I suggest you increase or decrease in increments of 5. So maybe start with a chain of 70. If you're making it for a child, decrease by 5. So maybe start with a chain of 60 or 55. You can also play with the thickness. You don't always have to do 13 rows thick. You could do less, you could do more, whatever fits the style that you are going for. And then you can always add the tag if you want, or finish it off just like this. Again, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If you have any suggestions of other tutorials you'd like me to make, you can also drop those in the comments below. I will likely place this one for sale on my Etsy shop under the ready to ship section. So if you're interested in snagging it, you can go ahead and check it out there. I'll also have that linked in the description box below. And that is all that I have for you today. Have a great day. Bye.